Welcome back to the Mysterious Challenger Cup, brought to you by Multiplay as part of the Insomnia Truesilver Championship. We're here with a single elimination series of matches tournament to bring you one winner who will get an all expenses paid trip and entry to the Truesilver Championship. With me is Raven, and we have a change to our scheduled match because things are crazy. It's a massive single elimination tournament, so lots of games are going on. We're going to bring you Freakeh from SK Gaming versus that guy. This guy, the Italian sounding guy.
Yes, that guy. That's all I've got as well. I'm going to join you on that one.
We had an Italian guy winning in our last game, Gara89, so maybe that's a good sign for this guy.
Yeah, Daligieri, I'm going to go for.
Daligieri.
Yeah. Okay,
well, have an accent with it.
You're going to say like
a slightly racist accent.
Okay, brilliant. You can hold on to that one then. I'll just say Daligieri.
That's my job.
And, whatever. I'm sure we'll get corrected at some point. So, yeah, we have Freakeh coming up. And Freakeh, for those guys who don't know, are on SK. He's teammates with the likes of Spo, AK Wonder, who we recently saw take IAM Katowice. We also on team with Powder, who's also playing the tournament, and a couple of others. And the team's really got there, really performing this year so far. Powder got top 4 in PGL. As I said, AK Wonder just won recently IEM. So the team's pretty strong, and they're all good friends as well, and practice quite a lot together. So I have no surprise that Freakeh is going to potentially perform really well in this tournament.
Absolutely. We've got 3 more rounds to bring you tonight. We're going to take it all the way down to our 4th round, which will be the round of 64, and then we'll bring you the final 5 rounds to crown one winner. Of course, it's a winner-take-all tournament in the truest sense of the word. Single elimination, just the one prize, and everyone else goes home with absolutely nothing. But you can still come to Insomnia and enter the Truesilver Championship. It's a completely open tournament. It's a Swiss tournament, so just come along, sign up. I think there's 200 spots. Sign-ups will be going up at some point in the few days after we conclude the Mysterious Challenger Cup, and you could be having your games cast by the likes of luminaries like Raven, and you could be having your games spectated by me. That's the true prize.
Yeah, that's an honour in itself.
Exactly.
And it's really what everyone's playing for in this tournament as well. They definitely
it's not about the $30,000. It's about getting to be near us in person.
You can actually touch us.
No, you can't touch me. No.
You can take that how you will, Twitch chat. But yeah, so it's definitely a huge tournament, and like you said, Callum, if you don't actually qualify in this match, in this tournament specifically, you can always just come down to the event. It's in Birmingham in a few weeks, and you join the Swiss, and it's completely open. There are no invites in terms of for further stages for the pro players.
Yeah, everyone starts from the same point.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be a lot of cool guys there to meet, and a good tournament to play in general. But I'm excited for this Freakeh game, to be honest. Freakeh was also at PGL. He didn't perform as well as he would have liked. I spoke to him, and he's a guy who gets very unhappy with not what he deems a good performance, which is actually, he rates himself quite highly, and, he's sort of quite harsh on himself as well when he doesn't do so well.
Yeah, well, I mean, these SK guys have... it's really interesting, the kind of project that SK have put together with the Swedish guys and AKA Wonder as well, the lone non-Spaniard in the kind of competitive side of things. But these guys, they were in a team house together towards the end of last year. I believe they're currently looking for a new team house at the moment. But yeah, those guys like Spo, who won the Gigacon tournament, and of course AKA Wonder just won ESL Katowice. So it's really coming together for these players, and it's the old sports metaphor, the old cliche that iron sharpens iron. And if you put good players together and make them practice together and put them in that environment where they're really concentrating and practicing with each other, then these players will make each other better. Freakeh was actually a key practice partner of Orange going into Orange's 2 big major wins last year, when Orange became, I think, only the 2nd player at that point to have won 2 over $20,000 tournaments.
Yeah, we are in the game though, and it is going to be Freakeh's what appears to be combo Reno lock, similar to what we saw earlier from Hoy, versus Daligieri's Secret Paladin. We can see the Mysterious Challenger in hand. He is on the coin as well. So this is, I think, a very close matchup in terms of how these decks work together. The Warlock will definitely want to just AoE the board down, especially before turn 6 or turn 5 on coin. And then just solidify the board from there and not let the Paladin build it up. But the issue is if the Paladin pressures hard enough and then it forces a Reno out on turn 6, but then you hit for like another 15 damage straight away the turn after, then that Reno pretty much gets negated and it demands board play from the Warlock.
All right, so what the Zombie Chow coming off the top feels pretty good for Freaky.
Yeah, just getting minions down that can trade well versus the Paladins is pretty key. And he even has him Gang Boss, and also, quite importantly, a Shadow Flame. So he has one AoE. Not the easiest AoE to pull off, but, it's better than having none.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he has something. And also has the Owl as well, which is a good potential answer for the Haunted Creeper here. It's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, because you're also a turn away from muster for battle as well, so it's not like the muster can ping off the owl with the weapon, and then it leaves the creeper alive. So he did go for the Chow though, which is also fine. It still demands like quite a response to deal with the Chow. And the good thing is as well, like if the Chow stays on the board, it's a potential Shadow Flame. And that actually 2 attack can clear off most of the early game Paladin minions.
Yep. So what does the Daligieri want to do here? You can go for the really lucky Knife Juggler, I guess, and you into the Zombie Chow and try and kill it. Or you could just Hero Power here. You don't want to put the Knife Juggler into the Zombie Chow.
You don't, but the problem is if you just Hero Power, then the Chow's still not dead the turn after. So it requires like Cog Hammer after that. But then Cog Hammer isn't going to do so great versus Reno in general. So it's really rough. I think because he has 2, he might as well go for a Knife Juggler. He might see if he can get the Juggles. Let's have a look. Okay, so he does get the Juggles. And misses one already, so it's already feels bad, man.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah.
So upsetting.
Yeah, so I imagine we're just going to see the Chow go into the Juggler to clear that off the board. And then suddenly Imp Gang Boss is very, very scary.
Yeah, and actually having the Ooze come into hand when there's a potential Cog Hammer on turn 3 or a Muster for battle. So either of the turn 3 options that are generally in the Secret Paladin will be affected by the Acidic Swamp Ooze.
Yeah, it can just straight off remove that, and the Cog Hammer's definitely going to suffer. Again, though, we see another Warlock player with a Faceless Manipulator in hand so early.
Yeah, I think it's something about this deck. They just allow you to get those defensive cards early. It reads what you're playing and gives you the right cards. It's a very innovative new kind of Hearthstone deck that just gives you what you need every time.
Yeah, consider it runs 1-off, so that's pretty interesting. So this just isn't a fun turn for Daligieri, actually. I think Minibot might just be the best option, just get it on the board. Because, like, Cog Hammer, like, yeah, you can kill off the Gang Boss, but you spawn a lot of tokens that way, which then just doesn't help you.
You would hit it 3 times, and you would actually put more power on the board.
Exactly. So I think he just plays the Minibot here and just does what he can. Especially now that he's chosen not to attack the Gang Boss.
Oh, Freaky's going to be a little bit sad to not get to use that Acidic Swamp Ooze. I'm trying to think, is there... So you can use the Shadow Flame here.
Yeah. I think this board isn't scary enough to use Shadow Flame. He could actually just owl the 2/2 and kill it if he really wants to. Because what he's got to think about now is Blessing of Kings next turn, which suddenly makes the Minibot actually very good. Because then he can kill off the 2/4 quite easily and still guard his tokens and still be alive as a 6/6.
If we're even saying that, like Minibot is not already very good.
Yeah, makes it even better based on the board. He isn't going to do it though, so he decides to kill off a 1/1, get some instant value from the Gang Boss in terms of generating the token, and then just leaving it at that. So wants to hold on to the Owl just for now.
Now this is interesting here because the Cog Hammer is one of Daligieri's only plays. He does have the Knife Juggler Hero Power, but then he would have to find a way to... I guess he could clear off the Imp Gang Boss with what he has on board, play the Cog Hammer, and then play the Knife Juggler and the Hero Power and kill off one of the 1/1s that's generated. So we would leave a 2/2 versus a 2/2 and a 3/2 and a 1/1 versus 2 1/1s.
Yeah, I think there's also a play where he can attack him with the Minibot, attack him with the 1/1, and then play Cog Hammer on the Minibot again to give it Divine Shield and Taunt, and then kill one of the 1/1s, and then just because it still challenges the board pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And he's going into some slightly better turns maybe on turn 5, but although the Paladin has like 2 challenges into Boom, like this start has been so slow that Freak is not even threatened.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it does go with the Knife Juggler play. It kills off the 2/1/1s. And there's a Mortal Coil pickup.
Yeah, I guess Coil's okay here. Again, I think he wants to hold the Shadow Flame, especially because the Imp Gang Boss wouldn't generate tokens from that. So, yeah, I think the Coil's fine. See if you can draw into maybe Hellfire. Or Alexstrasza.
It's not really helpful at this point.
Yeah, this might be a play where... Oh, see. Tap first would have been sick.
Oh, yeah, that's going to feel bad if you're Freaky. And that's considered in a vacuum a cardinal sin of Hearthstone to not tap first, right?
Yeah, I think, although he did do a form of card draw, right?
Yeah, it's okay because what he did first was card draw. And actually, yeah, because the tap first wouldn't have actually worked because the Alexstrasza would have come off the tap. But yeah, it's still going to feel bad that he tapped and couldn't because he played the 1 mana.
Yeah, just 1 off. So, I mean, it's still okay. You know, Demon Wrath, he's still not seen Muster for battle yet, so Demon Wrath just locks that card out pretty hard. Really, really heads up play from Freaky, though. There's a lot of temptation to just play the Ooze there. Although it does die to the 2/2, it leaves a 1/1 on board. So, you know, the temptation's there, but he did hold off to try and get a bit of a juicier Ooze and get that Battle Cry effect to do something. And he is going to get rewarded by this play of the Coghammer.
Yeah, I feel like when you're playing against Paladin, there's so many weapons potentially. You know, got the Muster for Battle weapon, the Coghammer. There's the Truesilver if the Secret Paladin's playing, which is actually quite uncommon at this point, and then potentially a Tyrian weapon as well. So you really do want to keep on a hold of that Ooze if at all possible. But there's also when you're just playing, you don't have minions to play. It is a tempting option.
Yeah, and I think now that this is just a really good Emperor turn, it almost forces everything to trade into Emperor. Your opponent takes 5 damage. And actually, you're reducing Arcane Golem, Faceless, and Owl, Alexstrasza, Demon Wrath, Shadow Flame. You know, like the cards you're reducing are actually insanely powerful now. So this is pretty huge. Emperor having Hyper Taunt, that a few people call it. And,
Well, it certainly makes the Emperor trade a little bit cleaner, if you want to do that.
Yeah, but I think you might still just play Challenger. Because you're okay taking 5, you're on 29. You still have a 2/2 Taunt and Challenger afterwards. So, although it's close, I think you just drop Challenger here. Because you Challenger into Boom, into, you know, a second Get Down, or Blessed of Kings feels so strong that it's difficult not to do here.
Yeah, I feel like if you even have 1 minion still on the board, it's worth the trade as well. If you say it was just the 1 minion that would either trade into the Thaurissan or be alive for the Challenger, there might be an argument for going face and leaving the Thaurissan up and playing the Challenger. But the fact you can trade everything and just trade away the Divine Shield and still have the 2/2 means that all the things like Avenge are much more able to be activated, and Mysterious Challenger plays better with friends.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of those cards that's so much more powerful on the board. But what's interesting here is, although Freaky has like the burst combo, we might actually see something like Arcane Golem, Power Overwhelming, Shadow Flame. Not this turn, of course, because it wouldn't do too much. But maybe, maybe next turn when we're going to almost certainly see the Boom come down. The issue is this turn just doesn't feel great.
Yeah, there's... What can you even do here if you're Freaky? I mean, you want to try and use the Owl once you've activated, so I guess you can Dark Bomb the 2/2, which will activate the Avenge and the Redemption, and then you could Owl... I actually
think a Healbot's perfect here. Your Healbot, it's useful, it's a 3/3, going to be relatively difficult to kill because it's going to require, say, the Minibot. If it isn't killed, then you can prop the Get Down and then do a big Shadow Flame. And the issue is, if you Dark Bomb, say, the Minibot, then it comes back as a 2/1 Divine Shield, which, again, makes your AoE a lot worse. So I actually really like this play. Just drop the Minibot. It was actually a super good tap from Freaky. And put himself in a really good position because it is extremely difficult to not play Boom in this position. And then Boom will actually, the whole board will get cleared by Arcane Golem, PO into Shadow Flame.
Yeah, it feels like a really passive play from Freaky to do nothing about the Mysterious Challenger and most of the secrets, because I guess the assumed wisdom in this situation is you want to try and deal with the secrets as quickly as possible and leave yourself facing as unscary a board as possible, right?
Yeah, exactly. What you need to do, though, is, I mean, like, for example, a sick pickup next turn would be something like Twisting Nether. Because then you just kill everything on the board. And really, this is crazy, actually. Like, it is very different. Why would you not actually play Boom there? Are you that afraid of Twisted Nether? I don't know. I mean, it's a super good play. It's a super good play, but I don't know. It seems very crazy.
There's also, I think there's something really appealing about playing Sludge Belcher with Redemption up. Because then the Sludge Belcher gets redeemed and you just create infinite taunts almost.
Yeah, the only issue is, though, say, like, your average AoE now, like, Redemption's a 1-1. Like, so I wouldn't have actually hero-powered that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think there's definitely something to be said about not hero-powering that turn, because then you either get a 6-1 or another Sludge Belcher back. Pretty much guaranteed, unless he charges the Arcane Golem in to proc the Noble Sack to proc the Redemption.
Yeah.
As the only way to avoid that.
What he could do now is, I think he can Swamp Ooze. It depends really what he wants to do. He can clear this board. He can like Swamp Ooze, PO, Shadow Flame. So that would be 2. Oh no, does he use PO or is my UI messing up? Oh no, PO's there.
Yeah, PO's there. It's just.
It was hidden. It's hidden behind a card, being very sneaky.
Yeah, there we go. We can reset that there on the stream one. Spectator mode, not the greatest.
No.
Not the greatest. Secret Keeper, not what Daligieri was looking for. I mean, he could second Challenger, but what even comes off that? Probably nothing, because of both Avenge and Noble Sack. Well, Noble Sack, the second Noble Sack is in hand. The only thing there's likely 2 of is Avenge, and the first Avenge is still up. So I think now you're looking at Boom.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, what does PO do? So you could PO the Belcher, attack into Alexstrasza with the Belcher and the 1-1. The Belcher still survives, and then you only have Redemption, right? Redemption for just the Belcher or the Challenger. So that could be a play, but then you do float quite a lot of mana. But we'll see what he chooses to do. Is he going to spread the attack across the board and just smoke? I mean, smoking is definitely a valid option.
I mean, yeah, you put your opponent down to 5 with a taunt protecting and a weapon. There's the Reno. Okay.
But now, oh my god, now he can attack Shadow Flame Alexstrasza and then just drop Reno.
Yeah.
He has Owl. What am I talking about? He just wins.
Yeah, because he's Arcane Golem.
Yeah, I forgot about the cheeky Owl on the far left, just hiding and being all like, "Yeah, I don't exist. What are you talking about?" So this is rough. And you know what? This shows the not quite playing around combo Warlock, because you wouldn't have left a minion on board to proc the get down if you didn't have to. And that's why I kind of like the Blessing of Kings on the Belcher to kill off Alexstrasza, because this couldn't have happened if you killed the Alexstrasza. So you're always guarded against combo if you leave a Noble Sacrifice down. It gives you much more time to push and make it more awkward for the Warlock to do something.
Well, that is a lot of damage for Freaky there. It puts the Dart Bomb in as well, just to add a little bit of insult to injury that was definitely not needed. It was already one overkill, but added the Dart Bomb as well. So what do we have from these two players here? So Daligieri has the Mage and the Druid left. So I think Druid is probably his best.
Yeah, I think Druid's just a go-to. Mage can actually struggle quite heavily versus Reno. Unless it's tempo and you just get like a super quick start or something. But yeah, Druid's definitely the go-to here. Looking at the hands, we see the dreaded Molten Giant Faceless again. Taunt.
What defense? Well, it gets rid of all of it. If he was playing against an aggressive deck, that was the dream opening hand. Zombie Chow, Molten Giant, Taunt, and then Faceless as well if you want to taunt up your taunt. You want to duplicate your taunt.
Yeah, but Daligieri does have the Wild Growth, does have the Innovate and an Ancient of Law to cycle quite early on and put a 5/5 body on the board, which is pretty good. But again, the Chow start, even the Loatheb's going to be nice for much later in the game to just almost buy yourself a turn from being comboed down by the Druid, which is going to be really important for Reno Lock.
And the Wrath going to come down and clear this Zombie Chow. It's going to be pretty nice for Daligieri. Don't know if he's playing things like Darnassus Aspirant. A lot of people cutting that card from their Druid decks at this point.
I actually just don't like Wrath there whatsoever. I don't see why you wouldn't just Wild Growth. Because are you scared of a Zombie Chow this early?
I guess what are you going to be... Yeah, unless you're playing something like Aspirant, that you have in your hand, I guess.
Yeah, because then you would have like Innovate Aspirant or something afterwards. But yeah, I think that was a bit probably too much. I mean, it won't matter because you can just play Dr. Boom next turn, which I've heard is a pretty reasonable play this early in the game. On what, turn 4? Will be the Dr. Boom comes out. So
what was his turn 4? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like turn 4 of the game. So Dr. Boom on that turn will be pretty good. Freakey's Discover is not the best Discover I've ever seen. We might see the Voodoo Doctor or the Blood Imp just to be awkward, but I don't know. This is rough. The Cogmaster is kind of pointless unless you want to hold on to that for the Antique Healbot synergy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Blood Imp's okay because then it makes, like the 2/2 slightly more difficult to kill. And, if it stays alive and there's no swipe, it makes like another minion slightly more difficult to kill.
I do like the Voodoo Doctor is an option. If you're going to be playing minions to try and establish the board, you can heal the minion a little bit and make your trading a little bit more efficient sometimes. But yeah, the Dr. Boom, that's not really going to help. So
it's kind of crazy though, actually, because if he played the Voodoo Doctor, he could actually kill off the Dr. Boom here, which would have been okay. But I think we might. There's a point to maybe try Defender Argus, kill the Boom bots, and hope that the minions survive to make the Dr. Boom attack worse. He could just play the Imp Gang Boss just to put something on board that's quite sticky, or he could go into Coin Lotheb and just stop any spells happening, and then try and kill the Dr. Boom with Lotheb, or try and force the Boom bots to try and kill the Lotheb themselves.
Yeah, I think he's just going to go with the play the biggest minion available to me option. You see Freaky coin there, but then wanted to trade a Boom bot first.
The Blood Imp.
Well, the Blood Imp did do something. It absorbed a Boom bot, so that's something.
And buff the Peddler. The Peddler's still a 2/2, so it
true.
Doesn't die to the Boom bot.
Yeah. Okay, fine. That's not too bad. As a Blood Imp goes in competitive Hearthstone, that's not too bad.
You didn't even have to put it in your deck.
Nope. And Daligieri, I guess Azure Drake is the play this turn. I mean, other than Hero Power Pass, which doesn't really feel like an option from hand. But what are you doing with this Lotheb? Are you going for the trade?
Seemingly so. And I would have actually. This gives him the higher chance to do the Boom bot, so this is fine. You put the Drake down now. So this worked out extremely well for Daligieri, but that could have gone very wrong as well. So that was kind of risky. And now Freaky has a bit of an awkward next turn, which is probably just going to be tap Gang Boss, I imagine.
Yeah.
Oh. He could Hellfire, I guess, but Hellfire just doesn't do enough, whereas Gang Boss at least, either forces the Drake into it, or the Gang Boss kills the Boom next turn.
Yeah, is there anything you could get off the tap that would make this turn better?
Probably not. I mean, BGH, I guess, but even BGH in a 7/2 when you have ways to actually kill it doesn't feel great.
I think he's actually looking really hard at Hellfire here.
It's definitely a tough call because if you play Gang Boss, it probably will just get ignored, and you're going to take a lot of damage. And he doesn't have Reno, but he does have a heal bot, so there's always a chance. And if the Gang Boss is ignored, he can almost certainly kill the 7/2. Now, what would be rough now is something like a Druid of the Claw. That would be pretty horrible.
Yeah, looks like it's just going to be an Ancient Lore to draw for Daligieri, and do you trade I guess you trade the Azure Drake into the Imp Gang Boss and just control the board here.
Yeah, I guess. The thing with that is, you could have forced the trade the other way, because you play around things like Hellfire then. A natural mistake. Is that what he's just thinking now? Is he thinking that, maybe I could have got more damage in there?
Yeah. I think maybe he's looking at... Well, I think... Yeah, because if he'd done 4 damage there... I'm just trying to think. No, there's no way he could have...
No, but this is actually... well, the thing is, he's thinking about lethal, right?
Yeah,
if he did 4 damage, he's only 1.
So if you do the 4 damage, you then... If even one of your minions survives, that's lethal. But I think it's lethal anyway. So I guess you're just thinking in the situation that if your board is completely cleared... He would have gone down to 15, so Freaky would have been still alive.
Yeah, I think he's just dead, though.
Yep. You think Freaky's dead? Yeah, I think...
Yep, he's dead, because the problem there is, if he Renos, he leaves 1 million damage on the board.
Yeah.
If he AoEs, he's dead to this Innovate combo, we can see.
That's the problem, and that's... I was talking about this last weekend, and The problem that you have with Druid, if you're Reno Lock, is they build up a huge board like that, and you either have to spend your time clearing and not heal, or you Reno and they just kill you. They kill you the next turn because they've got so much damage on board. It doesn't matter that you heal up to 30.
Exactly, yeah, and like, if Freakeh had like a coil then the game would have been very different. But he was put in the awkward situation you have to put Reno Locks in, where you put them at an awkward health, where the heal doesn't feel good enough, but then like any sort of board clear that isn't perfect still puts them in trouble.
Yeah, so that's 1-1 for Freakeh and Daligieri here. We'll see. It's going to be obviously the Druid for Daligieri. What can Freakeh come back with? It's going to be the Paladin, which I would assume is Secret Paladin.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we see the Keeper of Uldaman as well.
Oh, this is kind of nice. Secret Keeper turn 1 is so good. It's so good because even if you have no secrets in hand and it never gets buffed, it's a threat that cannot be ignored because it could be buffed and then you could die. So it's very rough, but I think the Noble Sacrifice keeps kind of interesting. He might even Secret Keeper coin Noble Sacrifice, demand us a Wrath, and then if Wrath doesn't happen, then you hero power and make the Druid think about Avenge.
Yeah, so that I think the keep of the secret when you have the coin in the Secret Keeper is really interesting, and it's something that a lot of players on the Abusive Sergeant's interesting for Freakeh, a slightly more aggressive version than perhaps of this deck, which I think a lot of people debate whether or not you keep secrets in your opening hand, particularly if you just play them on turn 1 with no Secret Keeper. But if you have a Secret Keeper, keeping that secret and playing it early, no matter what it is, can give you a big advantage. Obviously playing that 2-3, it's like a zombie chair, right?
Yeah, and it depends on the secret. Noble Sacrifice, especially against Druid, Warrior, Paladin, even something like a Warlock Zoo player, for example, if you know it's Zoo. Noble Sacrifice is actually one of the better secrets to keep, because you can almost guarantee it's going to get some pretty good value. But Innovate into Keeper the Grove,
and it's going to get so much work done.
And this is the type of game where Freakeh will start to stress out because, one, he got Innovate comboed last game, right? And there's nothing he could do about it. Now his opponents on what looked like an awesome setup just went Innovate Keeper the Grove in a matchup where the Druid is going to get so much value, like you said, from this. And also Freakeh's got to be thinking, I could have just coined Noble Sacrifice and that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Well, he could have just played Noble Sacrifice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, could have. Well, no, it would have happened. That would have. Oh yeah, because they wouldn't be able to kill it. You would have had to silence it.
Yeah, which you know what, you still have Noble Sacrifice down, so you're fine. Because then you have the Abusive as well to play the following turn. What he's going to do now is he's going to lock up the secrets in, and then probably just muster next turn almost certainly. But then we're going to see Swipe, and oh my god, this is going to push Freakeh over the edge. This is literally the worst game you can want as the Paladin. Everything goes wrong. There's even a second Swipe, or an Azure Drake if he wants to. So this is just going to be so horrible.
Are we doing the old Modern Leper meme here that Freakeh's an emotional player?
Sure. But I think everyone can be pretty emotional when you get games like this. I mean, this is just where and a second Innovate. Oh my god. So you can swipe this turn, not get punished by a secret because it's Competitive Spirit, and this will tell him it's Competitive Spirit, and then he can Innovate out Ancient of Law next turn, and then the game is probably just over.
Well, it could have been Avenge, right? You cleared the whole board at once.
Yes, and he only killed one minion the last time, so yeah. I suppose it could be Avenge.
Could technically be Avenge.
Yeah, I mean, the only benefit here now is next turn, Freakeh can coin Challenger out and hope it's enough. But, Innovate into Ancient of Law draw is going to be so rough here.
Yeah, I mean, he set up something decent here with the mini-bot because he has the Redemption on it, so he's almost certainly guaranteed a minion to be on board when he plays Challenger. But yeah, the Ancient of Lore is going to come down and build up a board for the Druids. Or do you just go for the Azure Drake here?
I don't know. If you use your Drake, then it's a tough one. I don't see any reason not to Innovate out and draw more. You draw an additional card and get a +1/+1 versus like what the Azure Drake would be. And you still have plenty of plays next turn. You can swipe hero power, you can shred a hero power. and do a lot of fun stuff. So he does get a keep at the Grove and a Savage Roar off the card draw. Competitive Spirit does go down for 3 attacks. We can trade into the 2/3 pretty easily. Or he'll actually probably just... Ooh. Yeah, you go for Challenger.
Yeah, you go for the Challenger. That does make you think for a second.
Yeah, this is rough just because Abusive just straight up kills the 5/5. But this is still good. You leave 1 minion on the board and force potential hero power out from the Druid on turn 6, which sucks. Because he wants to properly get down without having to use the 5/5.
Yeah, and it's not too bad for Daligieri here because he doesn't have a 6-drop. He does have the 5-drop of the Azure Drake that he might want to play off curve, but he can hero power and then Keeper of Grove, whatever gets avenged, I guess. So you want to hero power the face to proc the Noble Sacrifice and then hope that the avenge hits the... What are you hoping it hits? Are you hoping it hits the...
There's a pretty big chance you actually just hero power, play Shredder, and go face. You have Savage Roar and you have Swipe, and it will make the Paladin play defensively. Because you put him to 15.
Yeah.
And you do have, like I said, the Savage Roar, and the Shredder's quite sticky as well. So we'll see what comes out. It's a bit of a risky play, and it does... Oh, okay, so... The Avenge on the mini-bot might just seal the deal in terms of the Keep of the Grove here, because that's a pretty huge silence target now.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do. So he's going to leave the 6/6 and the 2/1 up here. And there's a Cog Hammer. So there's some trading options here for Freaky.
Yeah, I think I kind of like Abusive onto 2/1, trade, and then Cog Hammer. Or you could actually just trade Cog Hammer then to guarantee the Cog Hammer on the 6/6.
Yeah.
And then use the weapon to kill the 2/2. Because if the Cog Hammer goes down the Abusive, then that kind of sucks.
So you don't want to kill the 5/3?
You just use the Divine Shield 6/6 to kill the 5/3.
Alright, okay. Sure.
Okay, I mean, you can do this, but this just makes the Cog Hammer feel a bit janky. Unless he wants to go for Blessed of Kings, but you still haven't seen BGH. So I feel this was, like, a bit of an incorrect play, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you might have a point.
Because he could have cleared the board, that's all. Yeah, he cleared the board and leave a 6/6 taunt on the board.
He's actually just going to go to face.
Yeah, he has to now. Because like killing the 2/4 is stupid. Like if you kill the 2/4, then like you wasted 6 damage on a 2-attack minion. Like there's no point. But this swipe's going to be pretty good and going to clear the board.
Yeah, and Freaky's going to have nothing but Blessing of Kings in hand, so he's going to be praying for something like Dr. Boom to come off the top or second challenger.
Whoa! Called it.
Oh, there you go. Well, when you've seen both swipes, this feels pretty good.
Yeah, still not seen the BGH, but again, BGH still isn't end of the world when you can Blast of Kings a Boombot.
Well, there's a Wrath. Is there anything that can be done with that here? I think you just play the Shade and develop the board.
You play the Shade and just hope to God you draw a combo.
Yeah, that's what you're doing at this point.
Because 7, 8, 9, 10, 11...
So Freaky's 1 damage off lethal.
Yeah, so I guess he actually runs a bot in first, see what happens. Yeah, I think you run the Boom bot in first. Yeah, because if it hits, you win. If it doesn't, well, you clear anyway. Wow, sorry about
that. The dog has some intense lethal thoughts. Alright, so... Yeah, you run the 1/1 into the 4/4, I guess. Because even if you kill the Shade... So there's a chance you kill the Shade, and there's a chance you get lethal. Both of those outcomes are... And of course you could kill the Azure Drake. So there's some really good outcomes here by running this one Boombot in. Let's see. Goes to face, so that is enough. Freaky is going to get the win. Thanks to the Boombot, and is going to go 2-1 up here against the Daligieri.
Yeah, and Freaky was in a good position either way there as well. He like you said, if the Boombot didn't hit, then it's going to hit a minion. It probably either kills the Shade or puts the Drake low enough to kill it with the other Boombot. So, Freaky was in a super strong position there, and it wasn't like he got lucky with bomb RNG at all. Like, he had that game almost locked down anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see, what does Daligieri have left? I believe he has the Mage left as his only deck. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think you said Mage, right?
Yes.
It was the rough matchup versus the Reno lock, wasn't it?
Yeah, so yeah, it's going to be Freaky's Druid, Freaky's Secret Paladin against the Mage.
Yeah, so depending on what this mage could be, though, if this mage is freeze, Secret Paladin can still do some work against it. As the minions are very sticky, cards like Redemption and Avenge, cause some real issues. But it isn't. It's tempo. This is going to be a fun game.
Interesting. Tempo Mage. This is a mainly European tournament. Mostly European players taking part in this. So you tend to see that the European players favor the Freeze Mage over the Tempo Mage. Tempo Mage appears to be favored by a lot of North American players, but clearly Daligieri has a different idea.
Yeah, Tempo Mage struggles against a lot of he just loses to a lot of decks. That's the problem. It's super strong against some, but quite weak to a lot. So it's always risky. But you know what? Sometimes it's one of those decks that the start is so quick that it doesn't matter what your opponent is. You actually just lose.
Yep. So we are going to see a turn 1 Noble Sack again from Freaky. I guess that's not too bad when you're playing against Mage, right?
Yeah, I think there's no reason to play the Avenge yet because it doesn't do anything. Whereas a Noble Sack, if it's Tempo Mage, does some work here. And this is going to be interesting. It is just going to eat a Frostbolt, though. Pretty hard. Oh my god, this hand is pretty huge.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can Frostbolt coin mirror images, and then you have a 4/3 mana worm. You can Flame Cannon as well, actually. Don't even need to use the coin.
Yeah, I think you hold on to all of that because of Flame Waker.
Yeah, the lower cost spells are better to hold on to. It seems like Frostbolt should be higher value because it can be used for finishers, and obviously you can direct it at minions when there's multiple minions on board. But actually it does definitely have benefit, particularly when you're sitting on Flame Waker in hand. So we can see, again, Flame Waker coin mirror images is just utterly disgusting.
Yeah, the only thing he has to think about is he is going into turn 4 versus Paladin, and Consecrate is definitely a card. I know we can see it's in hand, but you do have to think about it, and sometimes it isn't actually worth playing too much into a Consecrate, because suddenly the mirror images become a lot less worthwhile when they just get mown down in the first turn. But he is going to go for it.
I don't know, how bad do you really feel though if your mirror images eat your Consecrate? Because yes, the Mana Worm's going to eat it as well, but that's going to be your opponent's whole turn. The Flame Waker stays alive, and then you can develop something on turn 4.
Yeah, it's not too bad, and it is. Is it going to be a Shredder instead? The Flame Waker does stay alive, which obviously is important if he chooses to Consecrate.
Just to point this out here, the Mana Worm attack before it was buffed by the spells by Daligieri, a little bit of a mistake there.
No, I think that's okay because he was testing the trap. He was testing the secret. So depending on what that secret was, would have potentially altered his line of play.
What? So he was thinking about Repentance?
Just stuff like another get down, maybe. To see if redemption procs or anything like that.
I don't know if that makes a difference. Here we see the Flame Cannon, and this is disgusting. Oh, it's a 2/4, so it's not going to die to the Flame Waker that easily. The Flame Waker might just finish this off itself. Nope. Daligieri is just going to go face.
I like this because it doesn't attack unless there's a hero power, and if there's a hero power used on turn 5, you're pretty friggin' happy. This Noble Sacrifice, though, is going to soak the Flame Waker attack, which is going to be pretty huge.
Yeah, Consecrate does come out now, so it gets a little bit more value. That secret is a mirror entity. That is the advantage of producing your own tournaments, is being able to check what the secret is whenever you're casting. A second Flame Waker, no spells to back it up, just another Mad Scientist. Daligieri didn't play around Repentance that time by not playing the Mad Scientist first.
Yeah.
But no more spells here, he's only got an Antonidas in hand. Let's see, Belcher's a decent pickup. And what are the two secrets up for Freaky again here? It's the Noble Sack and the Avenge. So that's pretty tasty actually. The potential Avenge onto the Wind Fury minion, if the Sludge Belcher dies and the Argent Watchman doesn't. But plays into Mirror Entity, unfortunately. Freaky didn't have a lot of choice there. He didn't have any other minion in hand. Didn't really want to give him a 7/7, so that feels pretty bad. And Freaky, pretty rough position against this Temple Mage here. And this is how Last Hero Standing is kind of supposed to go, particularly at a time when there's not one deck which beats absolutely everything right now in the format. You could say Druid and Paladin definitely can beat everything, and 3-0 like we saw in and obviously Reno Lock could do that as well. We saw that in our first series. But when the avenge onto the Sludge Belcher that time.
That's a pretty big Sludge Belcher.
That's pretty big. He's going to try and ping it here, and still no spells for Daligieri, so he's slowing down here very much.
Yeah, because he's probably entity now, I think just boom's fine. Just slam boom. And what's good is he also has the avenge to. He's probably scared of a second entity, right? Has he tested for it yet?
No, he has not. But we can see his counterspell, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you do just play Avenge and maybe Blessing of Kings and Hero Power so you can attack with the 2/2 and clear up the Belcher. It's definitely a tough one.
Yeah, that is the problem. You've been burned by Mirror Entity, and you played the Belcher into the Mirror Entity, which is a bad move on paper, but you played around it so you could play the Boom. So I guess he's going to play the Avenge to test for Counterspell, and then does have the ability to kill the Belcher off now that he's not playing the Boom.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty nice.
It looked like he was going to try and Blessing of King's face there.
Yeah. Can I give myself +4/+4?
This is nice too. If you Blessing of Kings on the Argent Watchman, that thing has Wind Fury. So if you Hero Power here, what else are you going to do with that 2 mana? You got 2 6/6s on board, and one of them has Wind Fury.
How does one of them have Wind Fury?
It's not the one with Wind Fury.
What are you talking about? This is not the 3/3.
I get confused.
But yeah, I mean, this is fine because now, especially, although he has Dr. Boom for next turn, potentially, like, the Powling's got no cards, so he's probably going to be Hero Powering every turn. So why not, right? You know, like, it's going to be another minion that has to be dealt with. I'm kind of surprised we didn't just see the Drake first, though. Like, what if you drew a spell? Like, why would you not play the Drake? Because then the spell would have been cheaper with the Apprentice. So Daligieri playing a little bit, off kilter there, and maybe not too fantastic play from him, but still, he's not doing too bad at the moment.
And this is a little bit awkward for Freak. He can't attack with the Argent Watchman, but does get the Boom out finally. He's already at 15 health though. There's a Flame Strike. What does that do? Usually a lot. Yeah,
probably quite a lot because it does hit for 5. Remember, so I actually go face with everything and then just Flame Strike. Because then the odds of, you've only got 2 minions to hit for a total of 3 damage when you have, 4 procs?
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, that feels good. And you're going to hope for some lucky boombots as well, but yeah, you attack first. We'll see if Daligieri gets his sequencing right this time. Just a little bit of perhaps inexperience. We don't know that much about Daligieri. Maybe he's not played in many tournaments. He's not the kind of experienced pro player that Freaky is. So maybe he's just a little bit unused to the pressure.
Yeah. So he is just... Yeah, he's just thinking about everything he can do, but I just feel like the Flame Strike with Spell Power and 2 Flame Wakers on board is too good. He's on 28 health, and he has Shredder next turn, Antonidas if he draws a spell. Is he going for Flame Strike now? Yeah, the trade's fine, I guess. This is fine. You only get 1 there. You get 2 chances at the ping.
Oh.
He does hit it.
Hits it, but also loses the Azure Drake.
Yeah, but at this point, I don't think he cares. If he draws a spell next turn that he can cast with Antonidas, he wins. He's still got Shredder to follow up with Shredder Ping to kill the 1/1 if he wants, unless that's going to get buffed, okay. But he can just Smoke now. Oh, wow, he can even play this. He could just draw Fireball or Frostbolt and potentially win.
Let's see.
Oh my god, hang on, 4, 5, 6. He can Polymorph Boar and potentially get lethal. Please.
That is definitely lethal. Because he can attack with the 2/4.
Oh wait, no, yeah. I didn't realize he was on 5 mana. I couldn't see because of the overlay. Oh no, he's on 4 mana, right?
Yeah, he is. You're right. He is on 4 mana.
Yeah, so he needs a ping to hit. So
it goes for the Medivh.
I guess he just wants to draw another Fireball with the Conjurer. I suppose. It's completely reasonable.
I guess.
Because he could draw Frostbolt as well, Arcane Missiles with a second Flame Waker, even Ice Lance. There's a lot of cards he could actually draw.
Alright, so just going to see the trades here from Freaky, trying to keep himself alive. But once again, Daligieri, and this time...
there we go.
A Fireball. So that is going to be it. Daligieri is going to level up the series 2-2. like I was saying before Raven came back, this is how Last Hero Standing is supposed to go. You build your lineup to you want to win 1.5 games per deck, so I'm told.
Yeah, effectively, you kind of want to win that first game, and then every single deck you lose after that, you counter with. So then you're not... A good Last Hero Standing lineup actually wins 3-2 a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You just build to counter. So yeah, it is pretty good. So he's doing pretty okay. Not doing too bad, especially against Freaky as well, pretty well-known player.
Alright, well, let's wait for these guys to get into their final game. Of course, one of these players is going to advance to round 3, and one of these players is going to be going home. Freaky just one game away from winning, but also one game away from losing. Another pro player. We've already seen Phone Tap and Deathalore, another player who's dropped out. We'll maybe review the brackets for you in just a couple minutes. But let's get into our final game here. Druid versus Mage. Freaky versus Daligieri.
Yeah, and Freaky's definitely got an uphill climb because Tempo Mage is the deck you bring if you want to beat Druid a lot of the time. That and Zoo. One of the big issues here is the Mirror Entity. And that versus Druid, they don't have too many low drop minions. Like, we're looking at one now in the form of Danice's Aspirant. And then, Keep of the Grove is an okay minion to drop, but everything else you don't want to give your opponent.
Yep, absolutely. This is an uphill climb, as you say. The Temple Mage lines up perfectly for Daligieri against Freaky. You see the Forgotten Torch in the Temple Mage is not always an auto-include. As we also see the Aspirant for Freaky in the Druid. What's your opinion, Alex? Do you like the Aspirant still in Druid?
I think one's okay. I definitely wouldn't play two. But I think one's fine. But I really like stuff like double Living Roots and obviously double Wild Growth as well.
Yeah, I just think the Wild Growth, the Roots provide you with more opportunities, and you can't really lose tempo after you've played Roots. Yeah. Whereas if you play the Aspirant, you can see what happens. Flame Cannon happens, or things like Frostbolt and Fiery War Axe and Warrior and Wrath in the Druid Mirror.
Yeah. That's a really interesting play from Daligieri. He was setting up for Flame Waker to be big, but I think getting a Scientist down was worth more, to be honest. Because the second you proc that get that entity on board as early as possible makes every single turn for the Druid horrendous. And you've already seen a Danice's Aspirant as well. And most people only play one, so then you almost guaranteed a good minion or a Silence Force out from the Druid.
I'm just going to go ahead and Frostbolt this Keeper of the Grove without being able to kill it. Azure Drake for Freaky, into Sylvanas, into Boom. This is a curve.
Yeah, the only issue is though, if you can get the Mirror Entity off the Scientist, so suddenly though, playing Sylvanas doesn't feel so hard anymore. He can actually just clear the board pretty easily. Yeah. And the secret is
his Counterspell.
But will the Druid be able to afford to play around that?
Tomorrow night there will be no dogs. We can promise no dog appearances tomorrow night, but we'll battle through unleashing the hounds every so often here. We might unleash the cat at some point if mine comes in, but I don't think she'll be as noisy as those dogs. So this is a really awkward spot for Freaky here. He could innervate. There is definitely an argument that you could innervate, and then I guess Sylvanas Wild Growth. If you know it's Mirror Entity, obviously you don't play the Sylvanas. Innervate procs the counterspell, and then you can play the Sylvanas. If Innervate doesn't, then you've wasted an Innervate, I guess, and then you can Wild Growth Wrath Hero Power. So that's not bad. As Alex is going to take away these dogs, but Freaky feels like just going for it. And is rewarded for the ballsy play. So there we go. Is able to play the Sylvanas into the counter spell. What can Daligieri do here? Ethereal Arcanist is such a tough card to play when your opponent has good stuff, has even half decent stuff on board. He's looking at the Mana Worm Torch into the Sylvanas. Well, I guess you can. This is really difficult because you want to buff the Mana Worm when you play it, but you also just maybe want to use the Torch and the Flame Waker to kill the Sylvanas and then develop the Mana Worm for later turns and potentially buff it with something that comes off the Ethereal Arcanist. Here we go. Alice is returning. The dogs have been houndmastered.
They're absolute loons. But
Yeah.
what did I miss, Callum? I apologise.
Well, Freaky did play the Sylvanas into the secret, went for the ballsy play, but Daligieri was able to clear it up here. I was saying that, so he was on 6 mana, and he could have tested for the counterspell with Innervate first, and then played Wild Growth and then played Wild Growth Wrath Hero Power if it was Mirror Entity. So he did have the ability to check for it, but he decided not to.
Oh, okay. So, you know, definitely risky play from Freaky.
Yeah, and now double Frostbolt in hand would feel pretty good, so I think he's going to go for that.
I don't know. Maybe he goes for Echo to try and get another Conjure off, because he is got no cards now, so it's definitely going to be rough to actually do something here with just 2 Frostbolts.
He does like the Echo.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be okay, because the problem is, the Druid's on 28. You're not even close to lethal yet.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he's going to take the Frostbolt, so he's got the 2 in hand, and just Frostbolt there. I think having the 2 mana to then Frostbolt the boom and not feel bad about having used a Frostbolt is pretty good.
Yeah. Now we're going to see, so the secret down is the counter spell, and you can proc it with the Innovate. Kind of interesting he chose not to use Wild Growth to proc it instead.
Yeah, that's true. So how do you line this up here? You've got the Wrath and the 2 boombots, so you can kill everything on board here potentially. Actually, you can definitely do it with Hero Power as well. So
let's see where the boombots go. 3 to face isn't really what Freaky wants. He doesn't really care about the mage's health at the moment.
No.
He does have plenty of options though, and another 3 to face. Okay.
Well, he's gonna be able to kill the 6-1, and then I guess he's looking at maybe Savage Roar to kill the mana.
Oh,
no,
never mind. Never mind.
Never mind. This gets the discount on both pieces of combo, which is good because it means second Savage Roar pickup on 10 mana would be playable without Innervate. Portal gets Master Jouster.
Ooh. Is it going to win? Call it now, Callum. Is it going to win?
No. I remember
okay.
when everyone...
Nice and positive. Nice and positive.
I remember when everyone was saying this would be good in Druid.
Oh! Wrecked.
I was right. So don't play Joust cards, kids.
Unless they get buffed or something. You never know.
Well, maybe Blizzard will try to make Joust happen, but they should stop.
Yeah, I mean, he can Frostbolt ping the 5/5 and then run the Mana Worm into the 7/4, but again, as you can... Oh, he's actually just killing Emperor, so this is just lethal, I believe. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, what if he had nothing?
Daligieri is going to concede. Well, Freaky is going to win and go forward, but yeah, that was kind of a weird concede for Daligieri.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, the Druid had a lot of cards, he was in a losing position, and if there's, no top deck that actually wins you the game, I kind of, accept this. I'm not a fan of conceding quite early, but I accept that you're top decking, and nothing you can top deck is going to beat a Druid having, 5 cards on board, and the Dr. Boom on board as well, hitting you for 7 every turn.
Yeah, well...